I'm convinced that the fastest growing industry in the world is cheap advice. From discount houses to do-it-yourself websites to blogs like this. Everybody's got advice for us, and most of it's worth exactly what it costs, little or nothing. That's because it's not advice, it's information. And information without a user's manual is useless. There's so much information disguised as advice being shoved our way that it's hard to tell the good from the bad. Real advice, what you have to sell, gets lost in the shuffle. Our advice is hard to sell precisely because there's so much information flying around falsely packaged as advice. A high school student can get a PhD's worth of investment information from the internet. But would you want to turn your life savings over to a high school student? I don't think so. It's not a question of getting the information. It's a question of knowing what to do with the information, of knowing good information from bad. Too many companies are wrapping their cheap advice in slick and misleading advertising. They do a very good job of convincing the consumer that having the information is enough. Information is not enough. Information is general data. Knowledge is the practical use of that data. Advice is a recommendation concerning a future action based on that data. So having information of investing is one thing. Knowing what to do with it, that's something else entirely. If you're confronted with a situation that pits you against someone with lesser fees, it's not a question of you having better information. You don't. Discount houses make great information available with a click of a mouse. Rather, it's a question of you having the knowledge and wisdom necessary to make the right decisions, to act on that information. It's your ability to give proper advice. Explain to folks that the challenge is not to pick the best investment. The challenge is to pick the right investment. And that takes experience. I've got an advisor friend who keeps a 55-gallon drum full of no-load prospectuses in his office. He's been around long enough to have collected them, but yes, you can still request a paper copy of a prospectus. When a prospect tells him that he or she is thinking of buying a no-load fund, he literally dumps the barrel upside down, and dozens, if not hundreds, of prospectuses slide out. He says, go at it, have at it. He explains they can read through all of those and hope they make the right decision, or have him do it for a very reasonable fee. Then they only have to make one decision. Do you want an experienced person in your corner? Another advisor friend tells his clients about his son locking his keys in his car on a weekend night. It cost him $90 because he made a mistake on a weekend night. It was no big deal. We all make mistakes, right? Well, one simple mistake trying to run your own portfolio could cost you $9,000, Mr. Client. Do you want to take that chance? Your challenge every single day is to sell yourself. Yes, we're in the advice business. Advice is, in fact, your inventory. But don't try to sell your advice. People don't want your advice. They want what your advice can do for them. Actually, they want what you can do for them. So as a consumer, I have to make a choice. Do I want free information no matter how good it might be, or do I want you in my corner? It's up to you to influence that decision.